guys, it's Kayla and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video that I feel is pretty important to me. If you guys out there are struggling with acne or scarring on your face left from blemishes in the past, or even if you have high pigmentation in your face like I do because of my acne that I have going on, then this might be the video for you because I'm going to show you guys how I cover and conceal my skin, everything that's going on underneath the makeup. But because I am taking medicine, I'm looking in the mirror right now. The blemishes that I have on my face are drying out, which is perfect. That's what the medicine is supposed to do. So I'm really left with, I guess, dry blemishes. I don't know. And then I do have a lot of highly pigmented acne scarring, which I have had since high school. I know acne scarring can be something that can be difficult to get rid of. You should not use foundation or anything that has oil in it because it can cause more breakouts in the skin. So make sure you guys read the ingredients to make sure that it says oil-free. That's super important. At least for me, I'm now more cautious about the makeup that I'm buying and I read the ingredients more now. Anyways, the face primer I'm using is a water-based primer. So this is oil-free, fragrance-free, silicone-free, which is super important for me, and paraben-free. It's just basically made to fill in the fine lines on your face and kind of just prep it and smooth it out for foundation later on. So this is something I do like right now. I'm using the Makeup Forever HD foundation currently because my skin complexion, I lost my tan from summer. This is pretty much the only foundation I have right now that fits my skin tone. This foundation is an oil-free foundation. I looked it up on the Sephora site. It's very lightweight on the skin. It's a matte finish. I think it works well for me because it does not irritate my skin and it doesn't feel like I have makeup on, if that makes sense. Like I don't feel like I'm wearing anything when I have that on my face, which I think is pretty important. So I would recommend getting a potted concealer over a liquid concealer because the consistency tends to be a lot thicker and it tends to cover up more of the area like the blemishes and the redness. So I'm using the Lorac Cover Up Concealer in C5. And I like this one because it is more yellow based, and because I do have my high pigmentation that's really red, the yellow in this concealer really helps to counteract that and it tends to make my skin look more even and more natural. The brush that I use with my concealer is this Sigma Precision brush. It's the P86. I'll link it below. The last product I'm going to talk about really quickly before I show you guys the tutorial is the face powder that I use just to set everything in place, take away a lot of the shine that I have going on. Is this Perfection powder. PF3 is my shade, and again this is by Lorac, and I love her products because they are made for sensitive and acne prone skin, which is exactly what I have. So I feel if a product is made for your type of skin, you should probably stick to it. This is basically just a pressed baked powder that is made with salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is an ingredient that's used to prevent acne and kind of help it to go away. So this is the powder I've been using, and I just use that with a MAC Kabuki brush. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So here we have my bare face, no makeup, no nothing, and as you can see, my problemed area is very red, semi-bumpy because it is drying out. So the first thing I'm taking is my primer by Lorac, the Aqua Prime, as I mentioned earlier. I'm just using this to prep my skin for the foundation. Next, I'm taking my 188 brush from MAC, and I already squirted my foundation on the back of my hand, sort of like a palette. Now, as you can see here, I'm just applying the foundation in a stippling manner. Once I kind of get it where I want it, then I buff it out. I feel like this is the best way for me to find out what exactly needs to be covered. So this process does take a little bit of time, as the concealer does as well, but I just want to make sure that it's all nice and blended out. While applying my foundation, it's really important to note that this is really used to even out your entire complexion. What's going to conceal and cover up our problemed areas is the concealer. So you just want to make sure that you have a nice even surface. And I'm taking my Beauty Blender sponge just to kind of smooth out any of the lines that might have been left over from the dual fiber brush. Moving on to concealer, the first one I'm using is just an under eye concealer to conceal all that craziness that's going on. Next, I'm taking my potted concealer, which I mentioned earlier is the Cover Up by Lorac, And this, I'm taking my Sigma tapered brush because I feel like it works really well. It does have a pointed end, which is great for getting around the nose and blending out the product, as you can see here. So the concealer is what really helps to conceal the acne and the redness, so make sure that you use a sparing hand because a little bit of concealer does go a long way. The final step that I take is with a powder, and I'm using this Lorac powder. I did mention it earlier in the video, with my MAC Kabuki brush, just to set everything in place, take away the shine, and lock in my foundation and concealer. And again, this is made with salicylic acid, which is great for acne-prone skin, and that's pretty much all that I do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that this was helpful.